can throw his name into the race for Rookie of the Year right now.
No doubt.
But the way that Yao Ming is playing and the impact that he's having, wow, that guy, he's got it.
There's Juan and what he's done. Over 21 a game. He only averaged about 22 in college last year.
It's going to be tough for him to get the exposure, though, playing for Cleveland. They lose so many games. He's overwhelmed by the LeBron James media phenomenon.
Yep.
And Yao Ming's going to be on TV deep into the spring because we've got him a lot, and then there's going to be the playoffs coming up.
How about that pass of Yao's last night? That little slap job over in the corner. Three's off the mark. Rebound comes down to Steven Jackson. Jackson's been good off the bench as he had 7 points in the first quarter.
Yao Ming is starting to make plays that Magic Johnson used to make.
So now come on.
No.
Rose. That's his first basket.
Yao Ming is 2 and 3 steps ahead of so many other players in this league mentally.
He sees the game in Chinese. That must be the difference. Johnson on a drive. Avery Johnson. A guy that spent 10 years here in San Antonio with the Spurs, and he's on the board for the first time. We're tied at 31.
So popular here. See, they fell apart when they took David Robinson out. You can only hope they don't fall apart when he retires.
Boy, Finley's
great.
Such a great shooter when he gets in one of those rhythms. He's got 9.
This Dallas Maverick team, one of the great improvements that they made from a year ago. Everybody's talking defense. I think the biggest improvement is the level of physical fitness. They just can come out and play all day, day after day.
Walt Williams. Walt caught that one with his midsection. We'll put it that way. Van Exel. Finley got it. Chance for a three-point play. Michael stayed with it and just powered that thing up off the glass.
This is an unbelievable turnaround for Dallas. Sean Bradley into the ballgame with Walt Williams at midcourt is really struggling. In transition, the defense just not there whatsoever. A little bit of an overpass situation. But with Michael Finley coming in so tight and not really giving a good passing angle for Nick Van Exel, there's very little Nick could do in that situation. That's why when you're coming down, there's one defender back, take the ball to the wing like it's a layup drill as opposed to right down the middle of the floor.
So the Mavericks are up 5. That's the biggest lead they've had.
They got to get David Robinson back in the lineup.
Kerr to try to cut into it with a 3. Missed it. He doesn't miss that many.
37.
Now he's got to get back on defense. 2-on-1. Van Exel back to Finley.
Who is guarding Michael Finley?
Nobody. Not right now, anyway.
But every one of his plays have come off brilliant penetration and creativity of either Avery Johnson, Nick Van Exel, the little guy, Stevie Nash.
Dallas in the zone here. 23-6 run. Jackson lost it going up.
They can't even make a layup.
He was going to slam that and lost the ball. Van Exel rimmed out a 3. Finley. Good positioning for the rebound. Nick's going to try it again. Got it that time.
That's fun basketball, and all Greg Popovich can do is throw up his hands in disgust and call a timeout.
Mark Cuban is excited about what Dallas has done. They were 9 down at one point in the first quarter, 22-13, and they're on a tear right now to lead.
A possible NBA Finals preview, Nuggets and Grizzlies. I mean, anything is possible. It is early. Juwan Howard, turnaround jumper, tight game. Jason Williams, 3 to tie it at 93. He's just hit 2 more free throws. Grizz lead that one 95-93. 25 ticks left in that game. Another close game coming down. Pacers lead the Bucks 112-111. Jermaine O'Neal 24-12. We'll keep you up to date. It's what we like, guys. Tough, tight basketball.
Yeah, that's what we had, Stuart, until Dallas went on a 26-6 tear in the last 6 minutes, and now they lead by 10 with 9:25 left in the half.
How about my Grizzlies? That Hubie Brown can coach.
Well, he didn't win the night we were there, but they've been winning with a little more regularity since we saw them in Memphis, that's for sure. That 3 rims out.
They took Tony Parker out, the offense ground to a halt. They took David Robinson, the whole continuity ground to a halt. Where's the substitutions to get those guys back in the lineup?
Van Exel all the way.
There's just such...
Hey, David's all over me.
Hard to argue with Sean Bradley's explanation.
Oof. Great shot. Great non-score. Nash is trying to check in, comes hustling up with double set of sweats on.
How many fouls now on Rafe LaFrentz?
2. 2 on LaFrentz, 2 on Bradley.
It's amazing that Steve Nash's hair doesn't get in his eyes.
It's got a new name, I understand. The guys at ESPN named it the Weasel Look from the commercial. I told him
nice.
Well, I told him about it today. He hadn't heard it. Here he is on the steal, though. And here's Van Exel.
Beautiful.
And now on another jam is Finley.
Now that's basketball.
That's pretty. That's 18 for Finley, and we still have 6 minutes left in the half. It does sort of make you smile, doesn't it? It doesn't make the Spurs smile, but when you watch Dallas play, as you said, talk about having fun.
Steve Nash is just so quick.
Oh, that's no call. And it'll be out of bounds to San Antonio.
It was Popeye taking a charge like that when he fell on Dirk Nowitzki's ankle last night.
Dallas getting up and down the court, coming up with a steal there for Nash.
The anticipation of Nash, figuring out that the pass was going awry, and then the teamwork. Nick Van Exel, the unselfishness, the strong above the rim, throw it down finish. Michael Finley, the Dallas Mavericks looking like the best team in the league. And what can the San Antonio Spurs do about it? Nothing, apparently, at this point.
Artest, red defending, good rip. Cassell throws it up. Oh,
that
off the glass.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they'd have been screaming for weeks if that shot goes. Milwaukee for the...
So Sam Cassell, who shot an air ball at a 20-footer that would have won a game, almost hits a 2/3 court shot. Pacers and Bucks are going to overtime again. Last time they played, they went to overtime. That kind of game, fellas. We love it.
We do love it.
Offense lives in the NBA. 114 apiece at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
Give me more.
The Bucks would have hit that shot. They wouldn't have just been partying and talking about it. They'd have been drinking beer till tomorrow morning in Milwaukee.
They would have been out on Latrell Sprewell's yacht. They can't even get the ball inbound, San Antonio.
Their last field goal was almost 6 minutes ago. Steve Smith just ended that, thank goodness. That's only their second field goal of the quarter, though. 6 points in the quarter for the Spurs. Michael Finley has 11 by himself in this quarter.
It's all transition offense right now, and San Antonio are unable to keep the pace. The substitutions, the rotations have not been fluid, and there's been no continuity for the Spurs.
Nash putting the spin on Parker. Got around him. Basket. Won't give it up, though, and the rebound is Rose out to Parker.
Malik Rose trying desperately to make a contribution. Tony Parker has to come back alive. He was so brilliant early. He's been left in the dust by Nash and Van Exel.
Here's a kick out. Rose got an open look.
Nice box out Popeye Jones. Pull the trigger on a three here, Steve.
Nash, perpetual motion. All the way across the lane, still looking for somewhere to go with it. There it is to Popeye.
What a pass. The vision, the brain of Magic Johnson, Sabonis, Larry Bird, Yao Ming, and this little tiny body from Vancouver Island, Victoria, British Columbia.
Robinson's basket's good.
You talked about the perpetual motion of Steve Nash. When he does come to a stop, the hair keeps going.
Just keeps swirling around his head.
David Robinson able to elude the double team. When you get a guy in between two guys, you can't let him split that double team. Sean Bradley a little bit out of control. Sean is making a positive contribution here after an opening that left a lot to be desired.
He got the rebound off the miss. And the fast break points, all Dallas. As if you've watched any of this game, you could have figured that one out. You might not have known the numbers, but you would have known the discrepancy. All in the favor of the Mavericks. Here's Nash getting low on Parker, getting swatted by Duncan.
And they're going to call a foul on Steve Nash. Steve Nash threw up. An ill-advised shot. But when he's as hot as he is as good as he is, why not try something? Greg Popovich looking on in dismay at what's happened to his team here. But Duncan coming from the blind side. San Antonio leads the NBA in block shots per game. And then in the scrum to pick up the loose ball, well, they're just daring Tony Parker to shoot. And he won't even look at the rim. What is going on here?
That block shot by Duncan, his first of the night, but he's averaging almost 3 a game. And there's Tony Parker coming back to what he did earlier in the ball game. This time he hits from outside. He's got 8. They cut it back to 12. Nash missed a 3 and Bowen the rebound. Here's maybe a little bit of a push for the Spurs.
We can only hope.
No doubt. Duncan hasn't touched it enough.
My favorite call, defensive 3 seconds. When are they going to get rid of this rule?
Bradley shaking his head. So Steve Smith's going to go to the free throw line with the technical call on illegal defense.
What was your favorite part of the conversation with Mark Cuban today, which lasted a good part of an hour?
There was a lot of good parts, actually. What was yours?
I just like hearing about all the business of the league and all the different things that he's involved in with his HD television network. And
he had all his work in his lap today. It was unbelievable. He was trying to talk basketball, and he had 100 other things going on.
Oh, nice pass.
Duncan over Bradley, chance for a three-point play. And Bradley's got his third now.
Greg Popovich and P.J. Carlissimo, the brain trust for the Spurs, that we have to attack this zone defense. They're not doing it by pulling the trigger from the perimeter. When you can get through the seam like that, the rotation has to be flawless from the weak side. Without Dirk Nowitzki, without Adrian Griffin, makes it very difficult for Don Nelson's zone defense to play a consistent level of effectiveness that they've shown so far this season, sprinting out to this 19-2 season opening run.
Tim Duncan has 11 points, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, and completes the three-point play.
Well, the worst shooting free throw team in the NBA.
Against the best.
The San Antonio Spurs. Who would have ever thought? The skill, the character, the quality, and the personality that these guys have here.
Under 67%. Whoa, there's a foul. Steve Smith.
Well, now, you can't go and argue this one.
I wouldn't think so. I almost took Finley's head off.
Point percentage.
Yeah. Anything that has to do with putting points up, they're there.
And the amazing thing is they're second in the league in fewest turnovers allowed per game. Seattle being number 1. Seattle with a big victory at Philadelphia, knocking the Sixers out of the ranks of the unbeaten at home. Only Sacramento and the Dallas Mavericks remain in that elite group.
Smith for 3. Big shot. Doesn't go. Walt Williams a rebound.
Walt's elbow, you can see, it's just not right. He doesn't have any snap on the ball.
Finley just lost the ball. Robinson had something to do with that.
But can San Antonio convert?
That's the first, excuse me, Bill, that's the first Mavericks turnover since 3.5 minutes in the first quarter.
You don't have to say excuse me, Brad. Quite all right.
Parker. There he goes. That's a big 3.
Finally.
And the Spurs are back in the hunt. Back to within 6.
How's that not a foul?
Williams rimmed out a 3. Rebound Duncan.
Steve Nash had the ball in his hands and they just grabbed his forearm.
Oh boy, Parker got another one. From 16 down, and it appeared that the rodeo would have a better chance in this arena, and all of a sudden San Antonio's back in it.
Well, the crowd was just dead. They were stunned with the late start, but now they're up on their feet, they're stomping, they're cheering, they're yelling, all due to Tony Parker's back-to-back threes here. And indeed, who would have thought the Spurs are back into it? Don Nelson forced to try to regroup here late in the first half.
This jam off the feed from Van Exel, that followed the steal from Steve Nash. But we're going to give you a little different look from one of our fancy, expensive cameras until right there. Now it's no longer a fancy, expensive camera. Now it's just a big piece of junk. Great job, Michael. We're going to have to call him. That one's down. That one's down for now, folks. We'll see if we have to put it on IR or if we can get it fixed at halftime.
The world's greatest athletes playing the world's best game. Throw it down from above the rim with explosiveness. Michael Finley.
Final minute 50 of the first half. Here's Finley against Smith. Smith swiped it out of there. Steve, quick hands.
Dallas is getting stripped time and time again down low. That means you're not leading with your elbow enough. You got to get the defender back off you.
Duncan cuts it to one. Big shot by Duncan.
The problem that the Mavericks have, they don't have an individual stopper. Not one of the guys on the team is somebody you can say, okay, we're going to shut somebody else down on the other team who's got a hot hand going. They have to rely on gimmicks, they have to rely on the zone, and they have to rely on their great offense.
Nice dish by Williams, and a three-point opportunity for Popeye Jones.
Glad to see Popeye Jones resurrecting his career.
Steve Smith on the baseline. And offensive foul.
Steve Smith, 33 years old, no longer with the athleticism. A player that came into this league with such incredible promise. Lived up to it off the court. On the court has been a different story only because the injuries that have plagued his ability to get up and down and move freely with the rest of these graceful Adonises.
Mavericks by 4 in the final 44. Van Exel got up in the air and had nowhere to go with it.
Terrible decision making. Go 2 for 1 if you're San Antonio right now. You got the momentum. You're playing at home. Give the crowd something to cheer about.
Parker, deep ball. He had hit a couple, missed that one, but it's kept alive momentarily by Duncan, but then Nash out of the pile with it.
Play for 1 or stroke a 3.
Missed the 3. San Antonio's got a chance now to tie this game up or cut it to 1 at halftime. A trail by 3, final 10 seconds.
Popovich is saying, pick it up. Don't wait so long. You're killing yourself.
Parker was open for 3, gave it up, drove instead. There's a follow by Robinson. The Admiral.
Down the lane, just get it up and over the top.
1.7. And that one blocked by Duncan. What a comeback by San Antonio.
The league's leading shot-blocking team, the San Antonio Spurs, get themselves right back into it with tremendous defense. Down the lane, when the defender comes, just throw it up over the top. There's nobody to rotate in front of Robinson. He'll gobble that up and throw it down time and time again. No stopping it. Great comeback, Tony Parker.
David Robinson with a shot. David Aldridge with the interview. D.A.
They're crazy half. They went up, then you came back. Is it your tempo?
It's our tempo, but basketball is a game of spurts. They had one early, we had one, then they answered it again. And now in the second half, I'm sure to be a little bit more under control, but we're going to win and play an up-tempo game.
You guys played last night. Dirk's not here. Does it say something about the way this team mentally is that you guys didn't fold and didn't have a problem falling down early, came right back in it?
Well, that's the way we play. We know Dirk's not here. We got guys willing to step up and take his spot until he gets back. And we know it's going to be a tough game. We know it's going to be up and down. We know it's going to be runs. But we just got to hang in there in that fourth quarter and give ourselves a chance to win and see what happens there.
Right. Thank you, Nick. Van Exel and Michael Finley having a great half. Back to you, Brett.
All right, fellas, halftime is 54-53. What was once a 16-point Dallas Maverick lead evaporated in a hurry, courtesy of Tony Parker, who had 8 points in the second quarter, 14 for the half. Tim Duncan's defense on one end, the high-flying acrobatics of Dallas on the other, but Robinson's slam at halftime's made it a 1-point game. 1-800-CALL-ATT.
For the tough layup, Nets by 12. Jay Kidd at 27 points, and then Kidd doing what he does best, working the alley. Kenyon Martin freaking the oop. One of 12 dimes by Jason Kidd. Rasheed Wallace, here's a 3 here, but still, he tied his season low with just 7 points. Blazers down 2. Portland bring the ball up to try and tie. Stolen by the Nets. Maurice Cheeks needed a hug or a role model or something. Lucius Harris went to the line, hit 2 free throws. Nets win the game, 105-104. Wagner to Ricky Davis. Davis is ridiculous. 22 points, and then, I ain't gonna say no, but this ain't right. Davis with the fat dunk. He also had 5 assists. But this is a story about DeJuan Wagner. Score tied at 60. Player, please. The 6'3", ought to be a college sophomore. He scored 20 or more in 5 of 9 games. Only the 9th NBA game he's played in his life. 33 points. Cleveland up 2. Wagner again. Baseline to 33 points, most by a Cavs rookie since my fellow Tar Heel and colleague Brad Daugherty did it back in 1987. Cavaliers over the Raptors 96-83. Ricky Davis, as I said, big game. 3 of the 4 wins this season have come by double figures, so when they win, they win. And then there's an and one. Artest to Tinsley, tie game as time expires. Sam Cassell still missed the buzzer beater, so we go to overtime again with these two teams. Second time this season, and remember, both teams have won twice in overtime this year. Give me some of that. Jamal Tinsley, the 3 to seal it for the second time this year. The Pacers beat the Bucks in overtime. Jermaine O'Neal went off, 30 points, 13 boards, 4 assists. Pacers 126-119. As Bill Walton says, don't you love the scoring in the end? To a late first, Hamilton and Ben Wallace playing a nice game of pick and roll. Big Ben, 4 points, 18 boards. 5 seconds left in the first half. Hamilton with the steal, finishes it with the deal. Rip had 18 and a half, 32 for the game. Late fourth quarter, Cliff Robinson hits Ben Wallace with the great pass, and Wallace bends the rim. Ben Wallace, told you about his 18 boards. He has led the Pistons in rebounding 96 of the last 100 games. In the last 100 games, there have only been 4 times that Wallace did not lead the Pistons in rebounding. He is a man. Elsewhere, the Grizz beat the Nuggets 96-93. Great game there. Went back and forth. Paul Gasol, 18 points, 10 boards. One of 6 Memphis Grizzlies in double figures. Jason Williams, 16 points.
SBC Center, where things were pretty quiet when Dallas was 16 points in front of the hometown San Antonio Spurs, but the Spurs came back and have made it a ball game as we take a look at our first half statistics. Dallas still shooting better than the Spurs, 51% their fast break points. But the Spurs had some spurts that they put together, especially near the end of the first half, to make it a ball game. We've had some fun with floor cam tonight. There's the owner of the Mavericks checking it out. Nick Van Exel had a great first half with 12 points and 5 assists. He had to check it out for himself.
Is Craig Janoff down inside there?
I think he is. He's a little small guy that fits right in the floor. And then the look that you see from floor cam. We talked about the spurts that these two teams have put on. The Spurs started things off, and the Mavericks went on a big-time tear. But the Spurs 20-5. Finley was most of that spurt. He had 19 points in the first half and 7 rebounds. But San Antonio still very much in the game.
Looking ahead to the second half, Sean Bradley and Ray LaFrance each have 3 fouls.
Right.
If Robinson and Duncan and the rest of the Spurs can attack the hoop immediately and get those guys in serious foul trouble, without Dirk Nowitzki, things could tilt ever so slightly in favor of San Antonio.
As you said earlier, the one thing that Dallas doesn't have is that defensive stopper. Here's LaFrance in deep. Missed the shot. Robinson with a rebound. That's the 4th rebound to go with 11 points for David Robinson.
I also don't know if they have an offensive go-to guy.
Duncan, there's a go-to guy for the Spurs, and that has given them the lead.
At the halftime stat summary, you mentioned 51% shooting for Dallas. San Antonio Spurs are the league's best defensive teams in opponents' field goal percentage at 40.6%.
Dallas was just so hot at that one time, and those fast break points will up that field goal average in a hurry. And there's a turnover now by Dallas, only their 6th of the night. Robinson, 17-footer. LaFrance will clear off the miss.
That shot created by the fact that Duncan, so devastating down low, drew the double team in transition.
Finley way off the mark.
Just missed.
Just missed by about 2 feet. Nash, wide open look. And he missed 2, and up and over. It'll go back to San Antonio. The last time the Spurs led in this game, I believe, was 27-25 in the first half. We had 5 ties in the first half.
It's no surprise that this is a close game. Last year,
a bunch of 3-pointers. 2 points, 3 points, overtime.
And every game went down to the last possession between these two squads. What a terrific rivalry.
Spurs took 3 of 4 last year. The difference, 2 points, 3 points, 2 points, and then 3 points in overtime. Duncan doing what he does. Yeah. Duncan.
You cannot go for a steal in that situation if you're Popeye Jones. Don Nelson just seen enough. Throwing his hands up in disgust. He's coming with Sean Bradley. Wow, what a shot. Steve Nash's game is so fun.
No doubt. He's got 11 points.
And he just put that ball just in the fraction of an inch that he could get it by Tim Duncan. A dominating defensive presence inside.
Parker, who had the great second quarter. Good beginning to the game, for that matter. And on a runner, he got another one. 16 for Tony Parker.
Mavericks zone defense is not doing anything to deny penetration from guys like Parker. Unfortunately for Greg Popovich, there's only one guy who can penetrate, and that's Parker. Oh, not this call again.
Technical foul defensively.
When Tim Duncan moves without the ball has got to come quickly to him.
For shooting. 12 points for Steve.
And he's even better in the end of the games than anyone else in the league. Hasn't missed in a pressure situation all year long, and the Mavericks offense is sputtering right now.
Yeah, they kind of came out of the locker room in a funk that the Spurs had him in with that spurt at the end of the second quarter. Robinson, meanwhile, has come to play. David.
Form without the express written consent of the NBA.
On camera. Talk me through. Got some ill performances on the night. DeJuan Wagner, in just his 9th NBA game, has a career high, tongue-in-cheek, 33 points. He is a scorer. Richard Hamilton, season high 30, 32. All kinds of stuff. Ben Wallace, 18 rebounds, led Detroit again. Let's go back out to Brad and Bill. Holla at us, fellas.
All right, Stu.
Did I see Richard Jefferson with 15 rebounds on that highlight?
He's been on a tear again the last 3 or 4 games. Tony Parker. Greg Popovich told us earlier today he's been playing more like Tony Bennett for the last couple weeks, but not tonight.
And the problem when you play like Tony Bennett instead of sing like Tony Bennett is that you have every night of the season a great opponent. From Steve Nash and Nick Van Exel tonight to Jason Kidd to Gary Payton to Steve Francis to Bobby Jackson.
So tonight he left his heart in San Antonio.
To Sam Cassell, to Jason Terry, Jamal Tinsley. That point guard position, that might
tough.
be the most top-heavy position in the NBA. It's certainly not the center position anymore.
Popovich made that pretty clear to you today.
Oh,
there's
Sean
the foul by Sean Bradley.
Throw it down.
I know you've been waiting all night to say that.
Sean actually worked on this game in the off-season, excuse me. Remarkable.
Did you help him with it?
No.
Well, what are your 2 or 3 favorite big men? I haven't heard the other one's name tonight. I'm not going there. I'm just going to see if you're going to.
His coach is here.
Pack it in there somehow. Duncan over LaFrance, airballed it. Bradley keeps it alive out to Williams.
All I want is a fan, an alumni, and a broadcaster is effort. The effort that we see from Rafe LaFrance right there in getting out in transition.
That's only his 4th point. And Duncan picks up his 2nd foul.
Rafe's still not 100% back from that serious ankle sprain that kept him out for the majority of the opening 6 weeks of the season. Telling us before the game he still doesn't have the complete confidence, the range of motion, the mobility needed to reach his level of expectation and productivity.
Lead cut down to 6. 4:45 to go 3rd quarter. Here's Robinson. Around Sean Bradley again.
Bradley threw his hands up way too early. You got to keep your hands around your head level and then put them up when the shot is delivered.
Here's Bradley on the offensive end.
A stroke and jumper, Sean Bradley. Can you still vote for all-star performers?
Sure can. Plenty of time. Just go to NBA.com. You can vote for whoever you want. Plenty of time before February in Atlanta. 3-pointer won't go. Bowen tried to come in and get position. Walt Williams had it, and he's got the rebound.
Somebody's got to get hot here for Dallas. Steve Nash is not having a good quarter.
And he missed a three. Robinson, nice position inside Bradley for the rebound.
Van Exel's on the bench. Finley is definitely cooled off. Nowitzki's home in Dallas, icing his ankle.
Parker right back inside to Duncan. And the no-look pass.
Powerful. When he plays well, the Spurs are extremely tough to beat. He's still averaging 9 rebounds a game. The top 10 in the league. That's remarkable. Why is he retiring?
Parker, Tony Parker. What a quarter. A couple quarters he's put together. 22 points for him. That's almost double his average.
And we're seeing one of the weaknesses of the Mavericks. Even though they're 19-2, when a guy gets hot on the other team, how do you slow him down? We saw it Friday night with Kobe. The guy goes wild. 21 in the fourth quarter. Who can play the individual defense? Nice pass.
While Williams leaves it for Bradley. Coming up tomorrow night, high school hoops phenom LeBron James and the Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary take on perennial power Oak Hill Academy in the Progressive High School Classic. On James, and that is what he did in his last outing. 16 boards to go with his 15 points. Everybody talking about this kid, and it's been a long time since we've seen somebody talk about a kid this young and what impact he would have at whatever the next level is, and everybody assumes that's the NBA.
We are going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night. What could be better? Thursday night basketball, great players, great prospects, Oak Hill Academy.
Duncan misses, but the follow by Jackson is true.
Jackson, an Oak Hill guy himself.
How do you think Oak Hill would do in the NBA as a team?
Yeah, they maybe win as many as Denver. I don't know. What do you think?
Hey,
Denver's actually doing all right.
they're doing better. Kiki Van Wave and Buzz Delic, they're happening up there.
Kerr knocks it out of bounds. Nice hustle. It's an 8-point Spurs advantage. Shulman, Vital, Billis. Holy mackerel. Who's running the audio on that thing up there? Throw it down, big fella. Throw it down. Oh, the big redhead. I can't believe it. Up with the All-Star. What's your autograph? That'll be fun to listen to.
Oh,
I talked to my mom before the game. She can't wait for that one tomorrow night on the Deuce. Here's Duncan down low.
Steve Kerr's got to shoot that ball.
Jackson alone. Got it.
Los Angeles Clippers, Rex Kalamium on the right, their assistant coach. They play the San Antonio Spurs here on Friday night at SBC Center. Alvin Gentry makes his offseason home in San Antonio, so great to be able to visit the family members who are remaining here in this beautiful city. Alvin Gentry, what a great job he does for the Clippers.
Finley, they needed that at 3. Michael Finley's first basket of the second half. 22 points for the game. He was so hot in the beginning, but now it's the Spurs shooting 60% from the floor in the second half that have taken command of the game. They lead by 14.
Mavericks have 76 points. They usually have that by halftime. Don't they want to win this game?
Jackson inside. Finley couldn't defend. Jackson's got 14 off the bench. Finley, try it again. Got it again.
Somebody's got to get it going here for Dallas.
Out with a partially dislocated right shoulder. If you just joined us, Nowitzki with an ankle sprain. Finley has hit 3 of his last 4 3-pointers. And Greg Popovich wants to talk about it right now because Finley has shot the Mavericks back.
Right, you can decide. Desmond Mason, reigning slam dunk champion. Nice alley-oop from there. Keith Van Horn rocking the one-hand alley-oop. Big nasty Corliss Williamson, lefty dunk. And Amari Stoudemire, the freshman from Florida. Who's your pick, guys?
I kind of like the one we had here tonight.
Absolutely. I like Michael Finley as the baseline bums. Can't figure out what is going on here. One of the great groups of fans in the entire league. We'll get back to the baseline bums in a minute, but with my position, beautiful ball movement, he not only throws it down from above the rim, but he breaks the in-the-rim camera. How could that not be the dunk of the night?
The rank's right up there with me. And his fourth quarter is ranked right up there. He has 9 of the 14 points 9 of the 13 points in this quarter for Dallas, and he's got him back in the ball game.
But that donut in the third really has hurt his team.
Duncan misses off the glass. Nash with a rebound. Nash with his head on a swivel. Kicks it out to LaFrance. They're trying to find Finley. They know he's the man, and he got another one.
If you're San Antonio right now, just double team Finley every time he gets it. Take the ball out of his hands. Make Walt Williams beat you. Walt's got the bad elbow. Can't get anything going. Terrific defensive rotation by Rafe LaFrance.
Here come the Mavericks. Where's Finley? Van Exel. Nice little spin move. Had it blocked by Bowen, though. And Duncan picks up the loose ball.
Fabulous footwork and elbow position on the rebound by Duncan.
Bowen had a notion, didn't take it. Second time around, he did. And out of bounds, last touch.
That's a bad call.
The officials, I think they're going to confer here and turn this one around. Let's wait and see.
Walt Williams touched that ball. The only argument could be is if I gave it to Dallas because it was a foul over the back of Walt Williams.
Well, Jim Clark and Bennett Salvatore are still talking about it here. Let's see whose white hair wins the jump ball. There you go. This guy just said, hey.
Which means they both were firmly convinced of their own call.
You could tell when they were talking to each other, they felt that way.
These are two great refs who have been here for many, many years.
Well, they got to get the right two guys in there, too. It's got to be Walt Williams and Tim Duncan, doesn't it? That's what I thought. Yeah, they finally have them in there.
Williams got it.
And Dallas has the ball. A chance with 5:40 to cut into what is now only a 9-point lead. They sent Steven Jackson to follow Finley around the court right now.
Just keep moving.
Nash will try three. Got it.
What a fun team. Why can't they all play like that?
Spurs have missed their last 5 shots, and the three-point shooting of Finley and Nash has the Mavericks back in the hunt.
Dallas is scrambling defensively.
Good shot by Bowen off the glass to snap that drought.
If you're Dallas, make Bruce Bowen beat you. Because you know that Robinson, Duncan, and Kerr and Jackson can do it.
Nash maybe a little bit too much on that pass. At any rate, it's a turnover. Bowen, inside offensive foul.
Bruce Bowen is making an argument that he got pushed into the defender for Dallas.
Third foul on Bowen.
Greg Popovich is not yelling at Nick Van Exel. He's yelling at Bruce Bowen saying, make some mental decisions that are appropriate for our team's game plan, please.
I don't know if he said it quite that way, but that was the point. 95-87. We approach 4.5 minutes. Nash around everybody. High floater, and he got it.
How can he play so poorly for so long and then just all of a sudden come alive? That's what's great about NBA basketball. The games are endless. If you keep playing hard, you'll always have a chance.
Dallas trying to pick it up on the defensive end, but Duncan on a great pass from Robinson has 22.
The sellout crowd here tonight sensing victory. Surging right now, trying to put the Mavericks out of their misery.
Nash ran out of room. Williams got a look.
Not a good shot.
Duncan the rebound.
He's got a bad elbow. He should do a dribble handoff. Shut up Michael Finley. He's the one who's hot.
Duncan's got 22 points and 13 boards. He and David Robinson both with double-doubles tonight. And out of bounds off Parker. Tony's had a good night. Hasn't scored in this quarter, but has 22 points.
Somebody's got to help Finley get open for a good shot. You're going to let a hot hand go cold? Inexcusable.
And Parker almost came up with a steal, but Nash got it back somehow.
What quickness by Nash.
Good no-look pass to LaFrance.
Make a shot.
And Walt Williams is going to be over the back.
Did you see the play that Nash did to get that ball back after he lost it? That is phenomenal. As Sean Bradley can only look on.
And the competitive fire that burns in there. And that guy, he wasn't going to be denied getting that ball back when it looked like he was going to lose it on a turnover.
So quick, so creative, so expressive. What more could you ask for from an NBA superstar? Steve Nash.
8-point game, 3:14 to play. Jackson, nice thought, but Robinson was going to the hole, and the pass was a little bit behind him. Skips off his hands.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. That looked pretty much perfect to me. But
not a good catch.
No.
Finley.
Even one of the greatest of all times is going to drop the ball sometimes.
Finley stops. Almost got away with a walk and hit another three. His fourth of this quarter, his fifth of the game. 97-92. This was a 17-point game not that long ago.
That's the beauty of the Dallas Mavericks. Don Nelson wants a 3-second call here, but he's not going to get it. They're going to call a foul, grabbing Tim Duncan away from the ball.
Back in San Antonio, Spurs led by 17 with 9:23 to go, and now we're down to 2:45 to go, and we got a ball game.
The problem, Brad, for Dallas is that every time they get within that very close striking distance, San Antonio just comes right back and scores again. They are unable to stop anybody, and with the San Antonio Spurs having a +17 edge on the rebound comparison here, they've been able to sustain their lead most of this second half.
David, you've been in the huddles. I know somebody's going to have to guard Michael Finley. That part I'm sure of.
That's right. But their main concern is obviously they got to score some more. So they want to run something high for Michael Finley or for Steve Nash. And Del Harris said, look, we got to get 2 stops and we're right back in this game. And he's right.
2? How about 1 to start with?
Let's see if they get it here. 2:44 left. 10 on the shot clock following that timeout. Duncan out on top.
Shot clock is a major problem here for the Spurs.
4-3. Parker's going to have to put one up from deep. And he got it. That's a career high, and what a shot by Parker. 25 points. That's the way you hit your career high, with a shot clock winding to 0. Van Exel off the glass.
And also against the league's best team, the Dallas Mavericks. Talk about competitive greatness.
I don't know if Tony heard Greg Popovich talking to the three of us today. It wasn't like Greg was whispering, but he didn't have that great of things to say about how Tony's been playing. But holy mackerel, he's woken up. He's awakened tonight, let's put it that way.
The beauty of the NBA is your career turns around in one day.
Now that one he probably shouldn't have taken.
That was a heat check.
Just see if it was still going, huh?
That's right. See, Finley needs to do some of that.
They got to get it to him. And they turn it over instead, and now Parker out of the pile. Jackson on his flank.
Steve Nash claiming he was fouled. Ill-advised pass, got along the baseline among the trees.
Van Exel leaves it outside for Walt Williams. He misses a 3. Robinson had his hand on it, lost it out of bounds.
Walt the Wizard has not had it tonight. Don Nelson needs a timeout. They're at desperation time. They need a miracle, the Mavericks.
Parker, that was one miracle answered. Shot clock winding to 0. Tony Parker with a career high hits the 3. His floor general abilities tonight, but the assist to Steven Jackson on that last break as you take another look from floor cam.
Tony Parker a year ago in the NBA playoffs as a rookie dismantled Gary Payton. The San Antonio Spurs looked like they were dead. David Robinson was unable to play because of the bad back. Tim Duncan having trouble. Tony Parker rescued the team. They were able to get the Sonics out of the playoffs before being eliminated themselves in 5 games to the Lakers.
Finley, they're going to call a foul on Jackson, who almost stole the ball from him. And let's see if it's a shoot. It is. Yeah, no, well, it depends on where you live. It's still Wednesday here.
In Hawaii, it is.
It's Wednesday in San Antonio. We know that. Robinson's going to go to the free throw line. So David and Duncan Both with double-doubles tonight for the big guys.
A terrific opportunity to recap some of the incredible accomplishments of this fabulous citizen of our country. MVP in the 94-95 season. 4-time first-team All-NBA. 2-time All-NBA second team. 4-time All-NBA third team. Remember, he's playing in the era of Shaq, Ewing, and Akeem Olajuwon.
Yep.
Defensive Player of the Year award, Rookie of the Year award, NBA champion. What more could you ask for?
Mavericks need 2 possessions. They could use some threes, but they'll take what they can get. But the guy you're talking about just came up with a steal. And now a foul on Walt Williams.
Go on another wonderful run.
Now remember, they started the season as Nash drives in and scores. They started the season 14-0. Their third loss last year came November 12th. At that point, they were 4-3. And here we are a couple weeks from Christmas, and they're about to lose their third. But the brilliant run at the beginning of the season was one of the best in all-time NBA history. In fact, the other 3 teams that started their years 14-0 or better, one won the championship, and the other 2 lost in the NBA Finals. So if that's any indication, the Mavericks could be looking at championship basketball at least. Win or lose.
So you're calling them the champions already?
I'm saying they got a good chance of getting there as anybody. Right?
They're going to have a lot of work ahead of them. It's an incredibly long season. They've got to stay healthy. You have to think at some point, despite all the problems that the Lakers are going through, that they're going to somehow get it together. And you can only hope that some of the rumors of dissension and team chemistry problems are not true. That would be a rarity on a Phil Jackson squad.
8-point game, final 30 seconds. Need some threes and fast. Nash says, well, we need to do somewhere, and he gets it. And now pressure all over the court trying to come up with a steal. Got a foul. Oh, no call. Tony Parker. Now there's a foul on Nash. .8 to go, and the Spurs in the game big time to Dallas. They were down by 16. They came back, cut it to 1 at halftime, and then got up by as many as 17. So San Antonio wins it 111 to 104. For David Aldridge and Bill Walton, I'm Brad Nessler. That's going to do it from the Alamo City. Coming up next is Sports Center.